While this video may contain material that some may perceive as negative or hurtful, that is not the purpose of this video. This material is created for comedic and satirical purposes that are not intended to cause offense, humiliation, or engage in sexualization. So what your disclaimer is telling me is you're going to say what you actually think, but then you're going to hide behind the satire defense when someone like me calls you out. Coward.
Okay, you've got to forgive me. This one's about a week old. I've been in YouTube jail for about a week. I'll be honest with you, I got a strike, but the strike's been lifted. It's all good now.
If only you being in YouTube jail could have been more permanent than just a week. Such as back in 2016 when your account got shut down for stealing artwork from Fresh TV. Also, what is that clip he's playing in his intro? Is he using prison rape as a joke? Isn't prison rape something your side often likes to bring up whenever a feminist likes to discuss rape culture? You know, to prove that it doesn't exist because men get raped in prison, even though that only proves rape culture further? Because I'm having a hard time believing that you take something as horrifying as prison rape seriously when you compare it to something as trivial as being thrown in YouTube jail for a week.
This is an old Amber Heard video, who, by the way, did a recent interview about her ex-husband who tried to convince the world he had scissors for hands.
Why am I not surprised the irrelevant anti-feminist YouTuber who makes bottom-of-the-barrel content while hiding behind a cartoon bear and failing to understand the basic concept of consent is weighing in on a defamation trial about domestic abuse?
Because it is possible. She was not remembering parts of the time that he was having sex with her.
Yep. What's your point?
Yep.
Are you suggesting, therefore, that if she gives consent once at the start, that the man then has full ejaculatory rights?
What? What the fuck? No, she doesn't have to give consent at all. If she jumps on top of his cock and starts rooting him, she doesn't have to give consent at all because she's initiating it. She doesn't need to consent if she initiates.
Okay, so I know this Amber Turd Johnny Depp trial thing has been talked about to fucking death. And I've mostly avoided getting caught up in this web of celebrity bullshit. The case itself didn't really spark my interest beyond the abundance of quality memes it produced.
I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I mean, seriously. What more could I say about this obnoxious little turd weasel that I didn't already say 5 years ago? I mean, I guess I never really responded to him weighing in on a defamation case about domestic abuse, so that's new, I guess. But in all seriousness, there is a point I'm making with this response that I'm saving for the end.
But now that the case is over and Johnny Depp has come out the victor, well, they both technically won a defamation claim, but Amber Heard won fuck all compared to what she now owes Johnny. Anyway, now that Depp has won, all the glorious feminist salt has started flowing, and that is definitely worth a look.
So, you didn't care about this case, but as soon as feminists started calling Depp an abuser, something there's plenty of evidence to prove, which I'll show a little bit later on, that's when you decide to make a video about this. When feminists start complaining, bearing, even if you believed Depp was innocent, which you clearly do, as you always believe men whenever women accuse them of being abusers, you wouldn't be making a video celebrating this, as the reversal of Me Too hurts male victims as well.
This whole thing's basically made Heard look like a right muppet. But some of the articles that came out following the results of the case are insane.
Bear in mind, this video is about 9 minutes long, and Barron doesn't actually attempt to make a point, which is more of the same feminists are evil and lying about abuse talking points that he's known for, until about 4 minutes in. He does spend the lead up to that point either shilling a sponsorship or laughing at unfunny memes, probably because he knows his view count to subscriber ratio is so low that unfunny memes on TikTok and sponsorships are the only way his audience will watch his content.
Get that a jury unanimously found in favour of Mr. Depp after sitting through a month of constantly changing stories from Heard.
You mean like how you slightly changed your story about Christy Winters and I doxing you after we called you out? Also, the only person who kept changing details of the story was Depp. Heard's story was consistent throughout the entire trial. Also, there might be rumors that Juror 15 wasn't actually verified to be a juror by the court. And even if Juror 15 was verified, courts should really sequester their juries in the future, so that way TikTok memes and the Daily Wire don't influence defamation cases about domestic abuse.
Damning recordings where she can be heard admitting to hitting Johnny Depp and saying things like, "Tell the world that I, Johnny Depp, a man, suffered from domestic violence and see if the world believes you." That recording really fucked her. It was the nail in the coffin.
Okay, so here's a screenshot of the audio that mobilized Depp supporters to really crack down on Heard. And here's a screenshot of what Heard actually said. The comment that has been memeified to death by Depp supporters was based on a lie. Heard doesn't even mention gender at all in the original recording. She's mirroring his speech patterns in response to Depp cutting his own finger. Which, by the way, he cut his own finger after Heard refused to cut him after Depp threatened to self-harm himself if she didn't cut him.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my god, I thought for the first time.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight.
Exactly, because you're bigger and you're stronger. And so when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone in my face, and it's gotten crazy in the past, and I truly thought I need to stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh my God.
And I never think about myself that way. I never defend myself that way. I never see myself as a victim. And to a fault,
Alright, yeah.
And what about the audio where Depp himself admits to headbutting Heard?
He happy screaming is like somehow the end all be all, very sort of offensive thing. You can throw a punch, screaming is okay. You can headbutt somebody screaming, but don't scream. Huh?
Headbutted you on
Couldn't believe you did that.
the forehead. That doesn't break a nose.
And after all that, you've got publications like The Guardian saying shit like, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial was an orgy of misogyny. Oh.
It was. Every time a woman accuses a powerful man of being a sexual predator or abuser, the courts vilify her while lionizing the powerful man in question.
The backlash to #MeToo has long been underway, but this feels like a tipping point. Wait, so she does domestic violence to him, he proves it, wins a defamation case, and suddenly it's a tipping point for Me Too.
While the precedent already existed, this case reinforces that powerful men who are abusers could sue abuse survivors by crying defamation. Heard didn't even name Depp as the abuser in the Washington Post article that started this clown show of a defamation trial, and she still got sued for defamation, despite the fact that witnesses, who testified on Depp's behalf I might add, even noticed that Heard has bruises on her from Depp's abuse. She can't even say that she's an abuse survivor.
Well, it seems like the tipping point is well overdue.
You hear that, women? If you're a victim of domestic abuse, shut up and don't bother standing up for yourself. If you're an abuse survivor, your abuser has every right to beat you to a bloody pulp, burn you, and then rape your corpse. I'm not even kidding. That's what Depp texted his friends. And watch how Barring doesn't even address this when he reads it in that Guardian article he's responding to.
In text messages to friend, Johnny Depp fantasized about murdering his then wife, the actress Amber Heard. I will fuck her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead, Depp wrote. In other texts, he disparaged his wife's body in luridly misogynist terms. Mushy, pointless, dangling, overused floppy fish market, he called her.
Not gonna lie, those texts from Depp sound pretty abusive. So how's Mr. She doesn't need to consent if she initiated it gonna play defense attorney for Depp on this one?
Oh, he insulted her. At least he didn't fucking belt her or take a shit in her bed.
Are you suggesting that Depp should have murdered Heard and then raped her burnt corpse? Because apparently, Depp's suggesting he wants to rape his wife's corpse after he beat her to a bloody pulp and burnt her is just insults to Barring.
The Guardian goes on to say, the trial has turned into a public orgy of misogyny. While most of the vitriol is normally directed at Heard, it's hard to shake the feeling that really it's directed at all women. Oh, come on, give me a fucking break.
So are you just going to be a sneering little prick, or do you have any actual fucking points to make? Ever? Seriously.
And in particular, those of us who spoke out about gendered abuse and sexual violence during the height of Me Too. We're in a moment of virulent anti-feminist backlash. And good, because there were some lying, deceitful women out there using the Me Too movement to their own advantage.
Again, this anti-feminist backlash to Me Too hurts all victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault. This includes male victims as well. The anti-feminist backlash means that, theoretically, Kevin Spacey could sue his victims, many of them being men, including Anthony Rapp, for defamation.
And the modest gains that were made in that era are being retracted with a gleeful display of victim blaming at a massive scale. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Consequences are misogyny.
In Baring's world, every woman who is an abuse survivor is automatically lying and should shut up. Meanwhile, powerful men who are abusers should be treated like perfect little angels who could do no wrong.
If you've got a vagina, you shouldn't have to face up to anything you've done in the past. One woman has been made into a symbol of a movement, well, I think she made herself a symbol of the fucking movement, that many view with fear and hatred, and she's being punished for that movement. In this way, Heard is still in an abusive relationship. But now it's not just with Depp, but with the whole country. Oh, cry me a river. Heard was the bad guy or bad girl, and she's suffering the consequences. It's as simple as that.
Riddle me this. If Depp is a perfect little angel who could do no wrong, why did he defend Roman Polanski? Why did he defend Harvey Weinstein? Why did he groom Winona Ryder when she was 17 and he was 25? Why is he best friends with Maryland Nazi paraphernalia Manson, who abused his wife, Evan Rachel Wood? Which I'm predicting Baring will defend him as well after that trial. Depp isn't innocent. All this case proved was that he could use Darvo to his advantage to win a court case. Also, he still lost his defamation case against The Sun back in 2020, which proved 12 out of 14 of Heard's claims that Depp abused her to be valid. And given that it's fairly easy to win defamation cases in the UK, that should tell you something that he lost that trial.
But some of the sweetest, tastiest, juiciest tears are from Amber Heard herself. She recently came out and said that she fears for women's rights as Johnny Depp says he's moving forward.
That actually does seem like a pretty valid fear. Powerful men who are abusers can now maintain control over their victims should they come forward and discuss their abuse, even if they don't name their abuser. Just cry defamation faster than the boy who cried wolf and bam!
Face it, Amber, you're lost. This isn't a women's rights thing. Women's rights aren't moving backward. You're a deceitful, deceitful liar.
This has nothing to do with the Depp-Heard case, but 4 days after this video came out, the GOP-led Supreme Court reversed Roe after the Democrats chose to do nothing, despite numerous opportunities to codify it into law for the past 50 years. This means that women, trans men, and non-binary people can't have control over their bodily autonomy. Again, nothing to do with the case, but Heard brings up valid points that women's rights are moving backwards.
Amber is just a despicable, despicable person. She lost fair and square. But it's amazing when some women like this get their comeuppance. It's misogyny. It's hate against women. It's sexism. Hashtag me too.
But he's totally not a misogynist. He just spent an entire video accusing an abuse survivor of lying, and even suggesting that Depp's text messages where he wanted to rape his wife's burnt corpse after murdering her were just insults. For the record, I'm not saying Amber Heard is a perfect little angel who could do no wrong, but during the lead up to this trial, she did everything right. She provided evidence that Depp was an abuser, and still lost. She faced an uphill battle from day one, and regardless of what the outcome of this clown show of a defamation trial was, she was going to be vilified. If she cried, she was too emotional. If she did nothing, she was lying or deserved to be abused. I actually do believe Baron can see this case was about misogyny. He's just pretending not to so that he can look innocent in the eyes of his audience, and like a rational free thinker who's just asking questions instead of the vile misogynist that we all know he is.
Anyway, unless something else dramatic happens, that's probably all I'll say about this story. Because it does bore me to tears. This Hollywood shit just fucking puts me to sleep.
Much like your videos, Baring, that was painful. So painful that I had to cut out scenes of him laughing at unfunny TikTok memes, and reading most of that final article where he's celebrating Depp living his life, as they had nothing to do with the points Baring was attempting to make that I wanted to respond to. Those points being women who are survivors of domestic abuse and sexual assault are liars or deserve the abuse they're given, and then the backlash to Me Too is a good thing. Now many of you are probably wondering, Danny, if you thought this video was painful, why respond to it? Mainly because I want to bring up a point that slimy little swine Xander Hall brought up months ago when he said we're in a new era of anti-SJW YouTube. Personally, I disagree, because that would imply the old Gamergate era ever ended. While channels like Bearing, Undoomed, The Quartering, Sinatra Says, and The Satirician had faded from relevance since 2017, they never actually went away. Nope, they're still here, and just as bad as they were during the height of the Gamergate era. In some instances, as I hope I proved with this video, they got even worse. It's bad enough that Bearing did his usual women who accuse men of being abusers or liars shtick that anti-SJWs are known for. What really made my blood boil was Bearing suggesting that Depp wanting to murder Heard and rape her burnt corpse during a text message was just insults. To call that infuriating would be an understatement. And to show how Bearing's bottom of the barrel quantity over quality YouTube videos haven't ended, one of the videos he made prior to this one was Transphobic Bile, where he defended Matt Walsh's transphobic documentary. The Daily Wire. Think Breitbart, except take their far-right talking points and make them palatable to mainstream conservatives and moderates. They also spent thousands of dollars in the harassment campaign against Heard. Until next time, I'm Danny Quartz, and seriously, cat videos are far more entertaining than this bot.